Well, good day, movie lovers everywhere. You're watching Craig the Critic. Now, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I started a new segment called JAMBIT, Judge a Movie by its Trailer. And we focused on the trailer for Super 8. If you remember, my judgment for that trailer was that I figured the movie was going to be pretty awesome. Well, guess what? It was. It was so good. This movie is phenomenal. It is fantastic from beginning to end on every level. It looks great, it's scary, it's tense, but it's touching and it's gripping, and it pulls you into these relationships that are at the very center of the tale, while at the same time taking you on this crazy roller coaster ride of action and sci-fi mystery suspense. If you haven't seen the movie, Super 8 is essentially about a young boy named Joe who just lost his mother to a tragic accident. The year is 1979 and they're in a small town in America. Joe's father is the local deputy and he's in the middle of grieving the loss of his wife and at the same time very disconnected from his 14-year-old boy. So like most 14-year-old boys, Joe spends his days and nights with his friends, and these friends are unique in that they're busy making this great film on a Super 8 camera, and they're going to submit it to a local contest for Super 8 films. One night they sneak out and they're filming at a nearby train station. As they're filming a scene for their movie, a massive train accident takes place right in front of them, and some of it gets captured on their Super 8 camera. And that is where the suspense really kicks in. Well, this train crash, by the way, turns out it's not an accident. Actually, a man drove onto the train tracks and caused the crash because he knew what was on the train. It was a secret military train that was transporting a creature and a lot of material that they don't want anyone to know about. Top secret kind of stuff. Well, this creature gets loose, weird things start happening in the town, and you just get drawn into this conspiracy-driven sci-fi mystery. And then there's this really tender love story between these two young kids, Joe and Alice. Alice is a lonely girl raised in a fairly bad environment, alcoholic father, the mother's not there, and this young actress really plays that sadness well. And Joe is so smitten by this girl, the way he plays his affection for her and his desire to get to know her more is so good that you just get drawn back to when you yourself were a 14-year-old and you had that crush on the girl in your homeroom class. I mean, you really get drawn into their experience and you remember what it was like when you were 14 years old. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the great thing about this movie is that while there's amazing action and it looks phenomenal and it's thrilling, the movie is not all about the action. Rather, this film, at the core of it, is a deeply human tale about loss and grief and letting go. And that is the theme through the whole film, from the relationship with the father and the son, to the friendships of all the kids. And this tale of loss and grief even gets tied in with this mysterious creature that keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole movie. It's a great examination of how grief and loss affects different people differently, depending on who they are, what age they are, what relationship they are to the person or the thing that they've lost. And J.J. Abrams does really some of his finest writing in this film. I mean, he's a great writer, we know, through Lost and some other things that he's done. He's very gifted at getting to the heart of the human condition. Where most directors would take this kind of an exciting tale and get lost in all the action and the sci-fi suspense and the special effects and all the eye candy, J.J. Abrams does an amazing job at keeping this film grounded in the emotions and of the relationships that are at the very center of the tale. There were many times in this movie I literally jumped out of my seat. People all around me were screaming. I mean, Abrams does such a great job at keeping you on the edge, and then at the very moment that you're expecting it, he does the big surprise, and yet you still jump out of your seat. He's the master of it. But again, what makes this film not just good, but great, is that he prioritizes things the right way. The number one priority is the relationships and what's going on in the hearts of these characters. And the number two priority is a really fun thrill ride. So if you see one movie this summer so far, I highly recommend Super 8. It's entertaining, it's funny, it's touching, and it's just an overall satisfying film experience. Super 8, check it out. I really think it's going to be one of the best films this summer, so don't miss out. This has been Craig the Critic. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.